down to 1 point for 8th place. Now they're vying for $36,000. State Park in the high deserts of Central Oregon. Good day, everyone. I'm Bob Trumpy.
And I'm Donna Deverona.
And we're here for the final event in the survival of the fittest.
It's the survival run, and what it is, it's a combination of tests that we've already seen so far, all in one event. They'll compete over 3 miles. They'll climb, they'll rappel, they'll swim. But most of all, they'll have to have a sense of pace and timing. And as we said before, it'll take brawn and brains.
And if that's not enough, we've added a new challenge. Our colleague, Eric Evans, is at that point on the course.
Bob, this is the crucial part of the course, the log crossing. The athletes will have to take this 60-pound log across this swift current over to the other side to those 2 rocks over there. It's going to take strength and strategy. The way to do it is to go up high and try to get the log across early so that you don't get swept downstream.
That's just one challenge. The survival run begins with a 300-foot rappel down the face of Eagle's Nest Rock. There's very little level ground in this event. It's once again back uphill to an elevation of 1,300 feet at Stander Summit. Then down the bottom half of the downhill run and through the jump at Gate 3.
Bob, at Gate 4, they'll grab the log we showed you earlier and somehow get it across the river. Once across, they must manhandle it through Gate 5. Then a rope climb to the top of a pine tree where they'll hitch onto a zip line and plummet once again into the frigid river.
Next, a 1,000-foot climb up a 45-degree slope to an area aptly named Misery Ridge.
Bob, after another 1,000-foot descent, they face one last 250-foot climb through Gate 9 and Asterisk Pass. Then it's a run along level ground beside Crooked River to Gate 10, a third and final plunge into the current, a short swim, and then it's one last agonizing effort to the finish line. Eric's with our leader, Kevin Swigert, right now.
Kevin, you're now familiar with the survival run course. What are your first impressions of it?
Well, it's much more difficult than in the past. It's longer. There seems to be a little more swimming involved, a lot of vertical climb. It's going to be very tough. Some of the obstacles are set up so that one small mistake could cost you a lot of time. The river crossing, for instance, with the log. If you end up downstream with that, it's going to be a long haul with that log back up the other side.
We're moments before the start of our final event. Points are awarded for each event in order of finish. 20 points for the winner, down to 1 point for 8th place, and each competitor must finish in order to get points. They're vying for $36,000 total prize money, $15,000 going to 1st place, down to $1,000 for 8th place.
Competitors, take your mark.
And we're now ready.
Ready?
That's a 350-foot drop. And we have 4 competitors with a chance to win the overall competition. And there's Ron Kauk, rock climber Ron Kauk, once again in that characteristic breakneck rappel. He is the first to the bottom of Eagle's Nest Rock.
Bob, he's now unhitching his rappel harness very quickly. The others are getting a little bit tangled up. There's Max Jones down. Now Kevin Swigert, he's a little slower. There's Ron already starting to run. Starting to run up to Gate 1 with John Bachar limping in the green. He's already limping at this stage of the survival run.
The final man down the rappel line, Steve Sokol, and unharnessed and already running, the 4 competitors with the best chance to win the overall event: Swigert, White, John Bachar, and presently the leader, Ron Kauk.
Bob, John Bachar looks very doubtful at this point. His knee is really hurting him. They're already starting to hike. This is the first of 3 hard uphill climbs, and they are not running up those hills.
Now Steve Sokol struggling to get out of his rappel harness. The others well on their way. And now our 5 leaders.
Bob, John Ruger is taking a different line up the first part of this 1,300-foot vertical climb and has taken over the lead from Ron Kauk. Kevin Swigert is now in 3rd place.
And Kevin must finish no worse than 3rd in order to retain his title. Now further up the course. Eric, what hurts most here, lungs or legs?
Bob, the lactic acid is burning in their legs and their chests are heaving, but it doesn't seem to be bothering John Ruger. He has a 100-yard lead as he approaches the top of Stander Summit. He's striding along. Now he breaks into a run. He's the first competitor to break into a run at this point. Now at Gate 1, heading back to the valley floor. But remember, Kevin Swigert is the world's best downhill runner.
And the last time our competitors ran this downhill, they had special shoes, helmets. You can see Ruger there fighting to keep his balance through Gate 2. A turned ankle here, he's out of this competition. He wants to maintain his footing, but very difficult. Look what lies ahead of him. Behind him, Swigert, Tobin, Max Jones. But look at the lead that John Ruger has now.
Rubbery legs or bad footing. But there, he's starting to use the Terry White method of getting down the hill on his backside, pushing along with his hands over the jump at gate 3, and that's got to hurt your knee.
And Eric, they've just begun. More challenges lie ahead. We'll be right back. Back in Smith Rock State Park in the high deserts of Central Oregon, this is Bob Trumpy along with Donna Deveruna. We're here for the survival run, and at the most critical part of the course, our colleague Eric Evans.
John Ruger is now in the lead. He has to come in here, pick up his log, and cross through gate 4 and get across the river. This is the part of the course they fear the most. Who's that in the background? It is. It's Kevin Swigert. He must have skied down the course. He's picked up almost 200 yards. Remember, that log that John Ruger is carrying weighs 60 pounds. And the big fear here is that they'll get swept to Portland. Kevin Swigert now coming through gate 4.
And Carl Tobin, he picks up his log, but no life preserver. Eric, what can he have in his mind?
I don't know, because look at John Ruger. He's getting swept downstream, down the crooked river. Losing time, but he's trying frantically to get into the eddy, into the calm water by the side of the river. He's pushing the log. Now it looks like he's into the eddy, into the slack water, and able to get out.
So Ruger will be the first one across the Crooked River. Kevin Swigert using a different approach, and Carl Tobin without that life jacket out in that 46-degree water. And Max Jones, too, chooses to go without the life preserver. Now Kevin, back to the edge. He's almost there. Ruger through gate 5. Gladly drops the log, discards his life preserver, and somehow has the energy to break into a jog.
Right, Bob. Look at Kevin coming out of the water now. His legs are numb. Dripping wet.
Eric, all competitors once out of that Crooked River must be feeling the numbing effects. Look at the pained expression on Carl Tobin's face.
Bob, on the other side of the river, Terry White is having a heck of a time getting that log in the water. He's losing time to the leaders.
And now John Ruger to the tree for the rope climb, requiring a great deal of upper body strength. He's got to be exhausted, but still he pushes on.
Kevin Swigert through gate 5. Carl Tobin. But look who's gained time. Max Jones has crossed the river in fantastic style. He has picked up a great deal of time on not only Tobin and Swigert, he's passed Tobin.
We now have 3 competitors within about 20 yards of each other. There you see Ruger now at the top of the rope climb. Terry White still in the Crooked River. And now John Ruger over the Crooked River on the zip line. He is in first place.
Oh, Terry White, ouch on the knees. A painful way to get into 5th place. Bob, John Bachar, and Ron Kauk have dropped out.
At the pine tree, Kevin Swigert at the top of the rope climb. Max Jones right behind him. And at the bottom of the rope climb, Carl Tobin. 3 competitors within 40 feet of each other. Ahead of them, the zip line across the Crooked River.
Bob, Kevin is off first. Max Jones about 10 yards behind him as they fly down the zip line. Lifting their legs up. Oh, my God. Max Jones has passed Kevin on the zip line. A tremendous ride for Jones.
And the look of pain on Carl Tobin's face. Now to the top of the rope climb. And John Ruger through gate 6, our leader, a third of the way up Misery Ridge, as Tobin now on the zip line. And he drops off in the middle of the Crooked River. He's got to swim the other half. Twice the distance the other competitors. But he shows one common characteristic of these under-publicized athletes: tremendous perseverance.
You take any football player, any normal athlete, and put them in this competition, they'll get wasted. I mean, I doubt if they would finish half the events.
Most normal athletes would not even enter this competition, let alone try to finish any event. Our leader, John Ruger through gate 7. Terry White now out of the Crooked River. In second, Max Jones, also through gate 7. and the struggle continues.
Bob, John Ruger is now at the top of the second of 3 climbs. He's looking very good. Looking less good, however, is the weather. It's taking a turn for the worse. It is snowing.
Eric, and the weather conditions are making this course even more treacherous. In second place, Max Jones looking really relaxed and at home in the mountains.
Donna, these athletes may look relaxed, but they are watching every step, because with every step they could go head over heels, especially with this snow. Look at how steep it is there with Max going down through gate 8.
And John Ruger, it looks like he could have found a second wind here, pacing himself well, really going for the bottom of the hill. And when they get to the bottom of the hill, they face their final climb, 250 feet up to Asterisk Pass.
Leader John Ruger has now survived 3.5 miles. Each athlete knows how much still lies ahead. All of them enduring tremendous pain, all hoping for the energy to finish, which is still to come. In Smith Rock State Park in the high deserts of Central Oregon, the final of 6 events in the survival of the fittest, the survival run. This is Bob Trumpy along with Donna DeVerona and Eric Evans, and the weatherman has not cooperated. As if running through 4 miles of all this terrain is not enough, now John Ruger, our leader in snow. In second place, Max Jones. Third, 3-time defending champion Kevin Swigert, followed by Carl Tobin, Terry White, and Steve Sokol is in 6th. 2 competitors, Ron Kauk and John Bachar, have dropped out.
Carl Tobin now through Asterisk Pass, facing a welcome challenge, level ground alongside the Crooked River. They're in the final phase of this survival run, and John Ruger has set the pace during most of this competition. They'll run to gate 10 for their final plunge into the icy cold river, but it's a short swim to the other side of the shore where they'll greet the finish line. And for Max Jones, this looks like it will be his best finish in this entire competition.
All of them must now be at the outer limits of one's physical endurance, but just a few painful strides to go. 3-time defending champion Kevin Swigert knew he must finish no worse than 3rd in this event to retain his title. It appears he did exactly what he knew he had to do.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
Let you catch your breath for a second.
It's a bit of vertical in that one. Ooh.
Take me through it. How do you feel?
That's great. Last little river takes your breath right away, but it's steep. There was a lot of vertical. You're either going up or down or being wet. This felt good. I really wanted this one.
Well, congratulations on a great victory. Hey, Max.
Good job, John. All right.
3-time defending champion Kevin Swigert becomes 4-time champion with his 3rd place finish in the survival run. And for Carl Tobin, his problems with the water began 4 weeks ago in the whitewater swim and raft today. Not to be denied, he finishes 4th.
It was a tough race. Every bit of it was tough. You know, going down, you had to watch your footing. The trail on the other side, you slip, you get hurt.
Terry, if you had one comment to make about this competition, what would it be?
Oh, well, of all the national teams I've been on and world championship teams, this is about the toughest competition I've ever been in, ever in my life.
And the survivor, in the truest sense of the word, Steve Sokol in 6th.
Is this the toughest competitive situation you feel you've had in the last 4 years?
Yeah, I think it is. Maybe it wasn't as close, but you know, it's come right down to the wire the last 10 feet of the survival run before, but something about this one, I think the depth was a lot more depth in the quality of people that were in the contest, and I can't say enough about it. I think it was really good.
Ah, the quality of people. These athletes are not used to competing against each other, but they displayed incredible courage, unfailing perseverance, a true spirit for the competition, and a great respect for their individual accomplishments.
Bob, like Charles Darwin first told us back in the 1800s, we are the culmination of centuries of struggle, with the fittest surviving to succeeding generations. And as we've seen here these past few weeks, this survival is predicated upon both brawn and brains. Once again, Kevin Swigert proved himself to be the fleetest, the strongest, and the smartest.
And through their display of courage, humor, endurance, and stamina, they made this awesome event come alive for all of us. And over the weeks, they earned a respect for this event and each other they'll take with them forever.
Our respect to Donna. The finals of today's event: Ruger, Jones, Swigert, Tobin, White, and Sokol. And overall, Kevin Swigert once again champion for the 4th straight year. In second place, Terry White, the only man to finish all events.